Hello, this is Matthew Chan of the extortionletterinfo.com update, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Oscar Michelin, and we're here to talk with another mini topic. You're laughing, Oscar. I know you want to say something.
I want to say I am not a crook. Let me just start by saying.
I just love it.
I'm nobody's partner in crime.
Oh, okay. Are you going to sue me for saying that? Am I defaming your character?
Hardly. No.
I don't know.
I know exactly what you meant. It was a very descriptive term.
Well, you know,
just don't call me an extortionist.
Oh, okay. Well, I would hate to be, sued for defamation. You understand?
Right.
And since we're doing this orally, what is that? Is that slander?
That would be slander.
So I got to be careful. I don't defame you, and I don't commit slander. So I'll do my best in this video. Okay. Which, well, that wasn't really the planned introduction, but really it does lead into the topic that I really wanted to bring up. Oscar's just here for the ride, so I take full responsibility. But I'm talking about my pet peeve of crybaby newbie lawyers. Okay, and the crybaby's my side, but you know, Oscar, I've had issues with newbie lawyers. It's because these people, they come in, they're thinking they're book smart, okay, and they've been licensed, and so they've got this little chip on their shoulders that, and they go out to town, and then all of a sudden they get whacked by the real world. They say, oh, this is kind of not the way the theory works. The real world is a little bit different. And so they get a little punch in the nose, and they're crying, which is what happened this week. So what is your opinion about what happened? I mean, I think that in two of these cases we were dealing with very inexperienced lawyers, no matter what, and they just never been around the block. They had no presence. We couldn't find hardly anything on these guys.
Right. We've gotten letters. Yeah, we've gotten letters from experienced lawyers, and we've certainly gotten a lot of contact this particular last week from folks who don't look like they've been out practicing, very long. The one thing about the internet is, you can put up and call yourself a subject matter expert on whatever you'd like, and you put up a very nice website. And unless people really dig deep, it looks polished. There's really no way of knowing, what that person's experience is without asking for some examples or doing a search and trying to find what kind of cases they've handled and taking a look at their biographies, their resumes, and to assess that. But certainly, it's part of the experience that as you mature, you get a little bit of a thicker skin. You realize you got to pick your battles. Yeah. That you're not always going to be right. That you certainly should try to protect the client over everything else, and not expose the client to further negative content about whatever it is you're doing for them,
or embarrassment for that matter. Jeez.
Right. I mean, it just prolongs it. Cut the losses and move on. Particularly when the person that you responded to angrily has pretty much agreed, just out of courtesy, to take out and remove 90% of what it is you were objecting to. So it's like, okay, you're there already. Let's move on. Let's pick a topic. Let's try to be, fruitful here in life and do something that matters, and not, just constantly harp and complain and make, frankly, false allegations and false accusations. I think that comes with time and with experience. At trial, you see young trial lawyers objecting to everything, just constantly objecting. They don't want to miss anything. They see that that's what happens on television. And, sometimes they even object to things that are good for them because they're not even bothering to listen to the question and the answer. They just know that, it's wrong. I got to object, and I've seen judges say, "Are you sure?" Say, "Okay, if that's what you want," So, I mean, it comes with experience. Yeah, it comes with experience. Okay, I was going to do that, but if you said, but since you said no problem, it's certainly part of the growing process as a lawyer, and I don't think people really realize how long a process that is. One of the things that I told you.
Me it was like 10 years, or that's the benchmark, isn't it?
Right. Well, almost all bar associations. So let me speak about the ones that I know of. The New York State Bar, the New York State Trial Lawyers Association, National Bar Association. Obviously, they're all in it for the dues, right? We pay dues to these organizations. Sometimes I ask myself why, but we cut the checks. But in any event, no, they provide a lot of good stuff for you. But they have different rates depending on how long you're practicing.
Oh, okay.
And you see that their young lawyer rates and their young lawyer committees are for people who have been practicing 10 years or less. And I think that really says a lot. Because I don't know many other professions besides medicine, perhaps, where you're doing something for 9 years and you're still considered young at the game. You've been a plumber for 9 years, you're not a young plumber. You've been an electrician for 9 years, you're not young at being an electrician, right?
Yes.
But that's because law and medicine are very, very different.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time to go through all the different things that happen. And more importantly, just to see the end of the road. Okay? If you were to start your practice with no cases, and let's say you did car accident cases, which is a popular form of law for people to start out at. So you're doing car accident cases. Those cases take 3 years on average to resolve. So just there. Your first cases haven't finished for your first 3 years of your practice, essentially. So you don't see the end game often until you're in it for a while, or unless you work in a firm that has cases at different stages. But even then, you don't get the real picture of how law evolves until you take your case from start to finish. And so it takes a long time for people to get perspective, to put themselves in the position of where is this in the grand scheme of things, and to see that it's much better normally to have a reasonable conversation with someone, not accuse them of crimes, not accuse them of falsely taking copyrighted material, things of this nature, and just try to deal with it in a more professional, calm manner. We had one lawyer, I think, of the folks who complained, who frankly took that tactic, a much more professional, much more law-based discussion, no name calling.
And we actually respected him a lot more, way more.
Of course.
I mean, I even wrote something public, commending him, really. Which is sort of shocking. I don't often write something nice about the opposing side. I really don't.
Correct. I had said something in one of my letters. He said, hey, this doesn't apply to me because I do X, Y, and Z. And I said, I commend you for that practice. I didn't mean it towards you. I was making a general comment about digital image companies and their pursuit of infringement. And that's the kind of back and forth that I think moves the profession forward. And we can disagree, but we can do so in a civilized fashion without, screaming fire.
There's two little mini topics I want to get through on this topic while we're on this update. And one is I was really surprised. We're not going to name names, but, there were people that sort of had a veiled threat against you, Oscar. And I just want to go on public record that I took great offense at that. I took great offense at it. And I'll tell you why. I started the website, and I try to keep my nose clean. And clearly you support me. I mean, I really appreciate that. I have no problem with saying that. I mean, the ELI website would not have been what it is today without your help. But,
I appreciate that.
But, when they went after you, which was real, I'm always expecting to be the lightning rod. You understand?
Right.
And I'm thinking they went after you, and I said, okay, I know where they're going with this. And I said, man, if they pull that trigger, I'm telling you, they are going to open up a Pandora's box. What goes around comes around. It would have been an illegitimate complaint, in my opinion, and I would have done everything I can, both verbally, it just wouldn't have been pretty because I would have been busy. I would have been busy.
I appreciate that.
I didn't take kindly to that.
No, I
so what do you
appreciate
think about that?
Well, you know what? I mean, what can I think other than what I've said, which is I'm in the arena.
Yeah.
I walk into it, with my eyes wide open.
You took it actually quite well. I did worse than you did, to be honest with you.
You know why I took it quite well? Because I'm confident in my actions and I'm comfortable in what I'm doing. Because I'm not the kind of person that's going to do things that exposes them to grievances and the like. And, disciplinary complaints. Go ahead. I mean, the disciplinary committee would look and laugh at the fact of what they're complaining about. So,
but it's still a pain in the neck, I mean,
it's all a pain in the neck.
It's a pain in the neck, and
sure.
You can't be doing that without a consequence. That's my thing. I
agree, but you know what? I consider the source. I wasn't overly concerned about it. Yeah. I've been practicing 25 years in let's see, in June, I think it is, of next year, it'll be 26 years. So, I've been around the block. I know that when you put yourself out there, you're going to be open to this kind of stuff. We've had frivolous complaints against us before that just get dismissed.
From other lawyers?
Yeah, on occasion from other lawyers.
That's actually pretty rare, actually. That's actually pretty rare.
It's very rare. Like I said, I'm practicing 26 years. Maybe 3 complaints have been lodged. Completely frivolous. Over litigation, or a client will move to another lawyer and claim that I didn't do something proper with that claim and file a complaint, and they'll look at the complaint and see that I did everything proper. All of them have been dismissed. Not even any kind of warning or settlement or anything of that kind. It's been completely dismissed as unfounded. Because, again, 26 years in litigation with in New York, I might add, with busy practice from individuals to businesses. Yeah. And this normally happened, those complaints came earlier on when I was doing a lot of criminal defense.
Oh, boy.
And so, those lawyers, will punch you in the nose at every opportunity, and you're going to fight back. It's a whole different arena than the law that I practice now. Much more rough and tumble.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about it.
I thought you took it really well, and I didn't like the veiled threats. And I say I'm the type of guy, as I've told you, you make that bluff, I may call you on it, and I tend not to bluff. If I say I'm going to go follow through, I'm going to follow through. So I don't know. It was sort of unfortunate. I don't want to belabor the point, but it just sort of offended me a lot. And we just never had that ever happen before.
Right. No, it was unnecessary.
It's childish.
I think it was a little bit over the top. I don't think that. I also know whether they meant to do what they said or just saying as a threat or to get me to be concerned, or maybe that'd be another way that we would, do what they wanted us to do. But at the same time, when you're confident in what you did and comfortable that what you did was right,
yes,
it makes it a lot easier not to worry about getting someone to file a frivolous complaint about you.
That is true. That is true. I'm surprisingly calm. I mean,
I've had lawyers tell.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our motto here is we stand up so straight we fall down. I mean, we don't take anything remotely close to an improper tack, and we're very careful. For example, we've been up for 3 years on ELI. Forget my regular practice.
We're going in our 4th year very soon, Oscar.
4th year very soon.
Very soon.
And look at the kind of content that we're doing, okay? And the number of people, literally thousands, that we've assisted, both formally by getting retained, which is the vast minority of people who contact us, but just by the information that we provide and the answers to the questions in the forums, which, they have a life of their own. And so if we were being unethical, if we were being incompetent, if we were being, malicious, this site would not have lasted as long as it did. And it would not have grown, and it's a credit to you, certainly, it would not have grown in the way that it is to be such a valuable resource for people who are facing this. So look, let the young lawyers cut their teeth.
Yeah.
Let them get out there in the arena. Let them try. Let them learn. Let them grow and, hopefully gain the experience that gives them the most important thing a lawyer can have, which is perspective.
Well,
there
are some things I sort of can overlook and forgive, but it's just sort of, I just thought it very, very surprising. Maybe I don't know what gets taught in law school, but you're probably qualified to teach. But, the emotional fragility, it's sort of astounding to me. That people are so sensitive to just a couple of things. And reality, like I said, if anybody had bothered to do any research, they were just blips on our farm. They were just like, they've already went off the board, went off topic, the whole thing. It was like one entry. And now there's all kinds of entries because of all this conversation and research. It was so ridiculous. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Are you crazy? I don't know.
Yeah. Why not just contact and say, hey, this bothers me, take this down, or let's talk about it, or here's my side of the story, here's where I feel, and you can gain a lot of respect from people that way rather than doing it the way that the approach that they took. But again, I think that'll come with experience and with time, hopefully.
Well, one thing I did learn, and at least for myself, is some lawyers, especially the young ones, they're a little sensitive. They are a little sensitive. They're pretty quick on shining a light. And I'm saying this is not hearsay, okay? I swear under oath that I spoke to the, letter recipients, the people that received those letters from the lawyers. And the lawyers had a very, very different tone in dealing with the recipient. They didn't have a whole lot of sympathy. They took a pretty hard-nosed approach. And now, of course, the mirror and the lights are going to them, and it's very interesting to see how they're reacting. And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed, Oscar. What can I tell you? And it's just the young lawyers, they just don't seem to get it. I don't know.
Particularly in law. The advantage that people often say about young lawyers is that they're creative. Oh, they think outside the box.
Well, they're cowards.
There's no one more creative than an experienced lawyer, because a lawyer who has gotten to be practicing as long as I have doesn't get there without being creative and knowing what will work, because you can't just be creative, you got to be effective. Mm-hmm. And they were not being effective. And I think that's the difference. You've got to try to find a way to get the result that you want in the right, proper fashion. But again, as a law professor, I feel for the young folks who are just out there starting a practice and trying to get a business. Just, again, if that's your position, then maybe you shouldn't try to paint yourself out to be, this super zealous, aggressive litigator, that you're not. And just, keep it, rein it in a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well, Oscar, thank you so much for joining me on this little update, and of course, putting up my little rants as always.
If
I didn't have you, how would I keep my respectability up?
It's always a pleasure to be your partner in crime.
All right, thank you.